World Elder Abuse Awareness Day happens each year on June 15th, officially recognized by the United Nations General Assembly in its Resolution 66 and 127, December 2011, following a request by the International Network for the Prevention of Elder Abuse, who first established the commemoration in June 2006. It represents the one day in a year when the whole world voices its opposition to the abuse and suffering inflicted on some of our older generations. Elder abuse is defined as a single or repeated act or lack of appropriate action occurring within any relationship where there is an expectation of trust which causes harm or distress to an older person.
Abuse can occur in homes, institutional settings, and may take forms such as physical, sexual, emotional, or psychological, neglect, abandonment, financial, or material exploitation. Mr. Speaker, the theme for this year's World Elder Abuse Day is Closing the Cycle, addressing gender-based violence in older age policy, law and evidence-based responses.
According to her, the United Nations estimates that the number of older persons worldwide is projected 1.5 billion in 2050 and more.
Over the next 3 decades, the United Nations estimates that the number of older persons worldwide is projected to more than double, reaching more than 1.5 billion persons in 2050. The second fastest increase is projected for sub-Saharan Africa, where the population age 65 or over could grow from 32 million in 2019 to 101 million in 2050, after North Africa and Western Asia, which has recorded the fastest. In Ghana, the elderly population is projected to grow by 2.5 million by 2025 to 6 million by 2050, representing about 12% of the total population.
With Ghana's projected number, the abuse of the elderly in the country is an occurring problem that affects health and human rights.
With a growing global population of elderly people and as longevity increases, abuse of the elderly is an occurring problem that affects health and human rights.
Again, the Ketu South legislator lamented that a report by Action Aid Ghana in 2022 states that gender-based violence is a global pandemic.
A report by Action Aid Ghana in 2022 stated that gender-based violence is a global pandemic that affects 1 in every 3 women in their lifetime. Gender-based violence is any inhuman treatment meted out to a person solely because of his or her gender.
Despite the violence Ghanaian women face, elderly women in Ghana face the worst.
Although both men and women suffer this fate, elderly women are the most vulnerable. It is sad that even though that is the case, more women are reluctant to report such violent crimes for fear of reprisal. Mr. Speaker, in 2020, a 90-year-old woman at Kafaba Salaga in the Savannah region was lynched due to the accusation that she was a witch. Recently, in May 2023, 2 individuals were lynched at the Mion district of the northern region on suspicion of practicing witchcraft. Sicknesses, the ability to have children, drought, flood, fire, etc., are all blamed on elderly women who are tagged with witchcraft.
The following actions she highlighted must be implemented.
It is therefore important that the LEAP program is designed to prioritize the older men and women, because after age 60, you can imagine what happens. Mr. Speaker, it is a fact that old age comes with many health implications. For this reason, the Ministry of Health and Ghana Health Service should consider widening the health insurance scheme to cover many illnesses, especially those associated with old age. In addition, more health practitioners should be trained to offer services that are tailored to cater especially to older men and women in our societies. This will help reduce the mortality rates of the aged. Many aged people are dying from illnesses that could be treated with simple medical procedures and medication. This should not be the case.
Second Deputy Minority Chief Whip Comfort Doye, contributing to the statement, stated that it's high time the country changes its perception about elderly women.
Mr. Speaker, when it comes to old age, I think as a nation we need to change our perception towards old age. It surprises me that parents can give birth to 6, 5, 4 children, but these 4 children cannot take care of just 2 parents who gave birth to them. It surprises me. And they end up running to churches and they will portray the picture as if the parents rather are their problems. And people will start sending their parents to places that is not best, and before you realize, they will start lynching some of them.
However, Minority Chief Whip Kwame Gavins Agboja was of the view that it's high time Parliament take a look at the provisions in the Disability Act to do the needful.
Mr. Speaker, if you check Article 715, that's the Disability Act. I keep saying it. That act is very important. It's not about disabled people. It's about people with reduced ability to do things. You attend interview. You knew you couldn't answer the questions they've asked you. You come back home, and if you don't get a job, you say that it's because of your grandmother, you didn't get a job. Meanwhile, you went and answered the questions completely wrongly. So, Mr. Speaker, we need to take this very seriously, and that is why I believe that the statement made by our colleague is not about all people. It's about all of us preparing for the kind of life we want to live in 10, 15, 20 years' time. And if we want to be treated better, then it is upon us to make the necessary changes that we need in our society before we get there, because surely, if you live longer enough, you will be weak physiologically. So, Mr. Speaker, I fully endorse this statement and encourage all of us, starting from Parliament, look at the provisions in the Disability Act, Act 715 that we passed, and see if we ourselves can set ourselves as good example by making sure that we encourage institutions that would enforce these laws to address some of the issues raised by our colleague. And when we get home, we see how we treat our elderly people.
Deputy Majority Leader Alexander Fenyomakin, that notwithstanding added that neglecting and not taking care of one's elderly mother but organizing the popular Bonyo party after their demise is also an abuse.
Funerals being conducted, celebrated, supposedly in their honor. If you take good care of your mom, if you take good care of your dad, if you take good care of the elderly, and upon responding to a call above, you want to honor such a soul, indeed, there should be no problem. But where the old lady is even in need of medications and you don't mind her, where the old man needs your attention and you are too busy, and you would organize funerals, build a new house, maybe you don't even visit the village, or you have an uncompleted house, you complete it, and you say you are celebrating the dead. Mr. Speaker, that's a serious matter, and we have to look at it. The aspect that hurts the most is what I call the Bonyo party, the one that they wait Sunday, they cook, eat, and will be dancing. I said, really? Suddenly they've forgotten about their sadness and they've forgotten about the pain they claim they are going through, and they are doing Bonyo party.